the song of my experience sung, I knew that all was yet to sing. How shall we interpret these lines? The poet says that he has sung the song of his experience. You must understand that all poetry is finally rooted in experience. And in the present case, the poet has sung the song of his experience. But he feels that his experience is very limited. He feels that he has lived more. He has to live more, he has to experience more. And in that sense, everything remains to be sung. My ancestors among the castes were aliens crushing seed for bread. Nissim Ezekiel, as I have already explained in a previous lecture, belonged to the Beni Israel community. The Beni Israel are Marathi speaking Jews. At one point there were 20,000 Beni Israel Jews in India. Now, as most of them have migrated either to Israel or to countries like the United States or Canada, only 5,000 remain. The Beni Israel community is today only about 5,000 strong. My ancestors among the castes were aliens. Aliens are foreigners. Aliens are outsiders. I think this is a key word to understand the corpus of Nissim Ezekiel. The fact that he was a Jew is inscribed into the body of his work. You can never understand what it means to be a Jew in a predominantly Hindu India unless you are a Jew yourself. The alienation, the isolation that a typical Jew experiences can be comprehended fully only by a Jew. Because in a predominantly Hindu India, the Jew is the member of a very small, a tiny minority, demographic minority. Well, the Beni Israel are said to be the descendants of Jews who were shipwrecked off the coast of Maharashtra around BC 150. The Jews intermarried with the local population. As someone put it, I think it was The Guardian, when Nissim Ezekiel breathed his last, The Guardian published an obituary. And in that obituary, it was said that the Beni Israel were Jews who had been shipwrecked off the coast of Maharashtra around BC 150, and that they forgot their Hebrew. They forgot their Hebrew, but retained their Sabbath. And shortly after their arrival in India, they took to oil pressing, pressing oil seeds for crushing oil seeds for oil. And so they came to be known as Shanwar Telis. Shanwar means Saturday. They observed Sabbath on Saturday, and so they came to be known as Shanwar Telis. And I think that they were smoothly accommodated into the caste system of Maharashtra. The hooded bullock makes his rounds. The Beni Israel took to oil pressing shortly after their arrival in India and used bullocks for crushing the oil seeds. One among them fought and taught, a major bearing British arms. This could be a reference to the poet's grandfather, Haskell G. Ezekiel, who was a major in the British Army and who took part in the Boer War. The Boer War, also known as the Anglo-Boer War, was fought in the late 19th century and the early 20th century between the British and the Boers. The Boer War came to an end in 1902. The Boers were descendants of Dutch settlers in South Africa. The Boer War ended in 1902 with British victory over the Boers. But the victory was not complete because the Boers adopted guerrilla tactics and started harassing the British forces. Haskell G. Ezekiel shared his experiences in the Boer War with Nissim Ezekiel's father. He narrated sad stories from the Boer War to the poet's father. I dreamed that fierce men had bound my feet and hands. This is indeed a strange dream which requires to be subjected to psychoanalytic analysis, evaluation, and interpretation. In general, Nissim Ezekiel experienced feelings of alienation, isolation, and fear, at least to a small degree, at least to a minor degree, throughout his life. And this feeling of alienation, isolation, and fear appears to have manifested itself in such a dream. I dreamed that fierce men had bound my feet and hands. This could be a result of the fact that he was born into the Beni Israel community, which is a very tiny demographic minority in a predominantly Hindu India. This could be because of some of the terrifying experiences that he had in his childhood. This could be because of the unfortunate experiences that he had at school, at the hands of his classmates, and at the hands of his seniors. Be that as it may, the poet says that he had terrifying dreams, especially a terrifying dream of being bound by fierce men.